So the best way to kind of go about it, if you want to do it yourself or hire a team like us who has the sort of lot of experience in understanding the capabilities, but you're really trying to take, okay, what can AI do right now that's capable, that's, actually feasible? There's a lot of, experimental AI services out there that you can't actually very easily and reliably integrate into your actual organization, in a scalable way. So it's actually important to understand, okay, cool, there's all these models out there and all these services, but what can we actually use in a really simple way that doesn't, require a large amount of tooling to actually get it to work, that we can just plug in and start using straight away. So the idea is to first go through an exercise of understanding what's out there. Let's understand the landscape of AI. Unfortunately, it's changing every day. When we talked earlier about all the different models that are out there, those are being updated. New ones are coming out every second month. So at this point in time, you definitely have to keep your sort of wits about you and understand what's better and what's changing, because they're not small jumps, they're sometimes large jumps, and you don't want to invest into a whole AI strategy with certain models that can be very outdated very quickly. You need to be able to build up your strategy and your services around that you can pivot to these new services as they come out without you requiring a whole load of rewrites or sort of architecture changes as you've integrated this AI. So it's really important to make sure that you're staying flexible. So it's an idea of let's understand what's out there, let's understand the landscape, let's look at, what the actual use cases are, and you sort of go through all your entire process flows, sort of ideas that you have, product offerings, trying to understand the market where you can actually see AI coming in, or something that you've always wanted to do, but it was always just seemed too complicated or too expensive to actually realize. Can AI actually help us with that? So you're taking two lists, understanding the capabilities, understanding, where we can actually see value in these, and then matching those two together. And ideally, once you do that, and you've made those matches, and you can start looking into the cost effectiveness and, understanding, okay, do we actually have the data and infrastructure to support the solution, which is another step. So, we've talked about AI being really easy to integrate, but you do have to integrate it, right? You still got your existing systems, your existing databases, your existing data. Do you have enough data to support it? If you want to create a customer service bot that can answer loads of questions, do we have the data that we can actually use to answer those questions? If it doesn't, then it's not going to be very effective. So you need to understand, okay, do we have the data? Do we have the services that easily integrate into AI? Have we built some custom solution which is going to be very hard to match up to it all? Are we currently using loads of third-party services, that just, have their own very narrow solutions that we can't easily integrate all these new AI functionalities into, which can be a big problem. Right now, large software sort of sites and large software services, something like Salesforce, are slowly adding AI integration into their software, but it's very scoped to what they wanted to do for their specific offerings. You can't easily add OpenAI into it and start using OpenAI, which has these amazing models. You have to you're limited to what Salesforce can do. So it's important to understand, okay, what's our existing infrastructure? Can AI actually be easily integrated into it? Once you've seen that and you go, yes, it can, you've looked through all of that and you've got little green ticks everywhere, then it's looking at the cost effectiveness of this. Okay, let's understand the compute costs around this, because AI does cost money. To run AI, to run the services around it, there's a cost to that. There's compute costs for some AI models, or token costs for some AI services. You need to understand that and sort of do some sort of feasibility study to understand if it's actually worth it. Is it actually, going to make sense financially for you? And of course, once you've done that, you actually need to implement it and start testing it. One of the main problems with AI I've seen so far is you'll see a lot of really flashy demos that are doing something very narrow, and it looks amazing, and you can be like, wow, that looks like magic. And if I can get that into my company, it can book flights for all my users and, for my staff, and automatically do all this for us. But really it can't. That demo showed a very specific use case. When you try and scale it out to do more for you, it actually can't. So you've got to make sure that you can test it, understand what it's capable of, and then test it as you go, right? Build up a test plan. So as new models come out, you're not sort of adding these new models into the mix and they're just not working in reliable ways. You need to be able to retest them and make sure that when we add in new models or new services into it, that we're still getting the same accurate answers that we were before, as we kind of pivot around between all the different technologies. So it's kind of a long-winded explanation, but really, again, you're just trying to look at all the capabilities of AI out there right now. Look what you currently have, look at your repetitive tasks. Do you want to process data faster, improve uptime reliability, optimize resources, do some sort of prediction? All you want to accomplish and try and mash the two together and do a study around that, which can be extremely helpful.